Hello, welcome to my personal project MarshTown. MarshTown is an animation and a story that I've been working on, and you can find out more about it by clicking the link in the description below. Today I'd like to explore the characters in the story. So let's get started. Behind you can see a painting of mine that I did quite some years ago, and just for the fun of it I created a backstory for each of the characters, and that's where this story originates from. Today I'd like to explore a bit more in depth the character of this fairy behind me. I created a text document which I'm going to open now, and we can go through some of the things that are currently in my head that I'm working on to try and give this character a little bit of depth. So here's the document. My daughter came up with the name for her, and I quite liked it. It's a French word for celestial, so her name is Celeste. I've already covered that she's a fairy, but in the back of my mind I'm starting to build a story about where she grew up, and that maybe the different fairies in her village or town all might have different magical qualities, and celestial qualities could be hers. Maybe it's using stars to navigate like a sailor does, or maybe she speaks to stars like when Mufasa spoke to Simba. I haven't really explored this idea very deeply yet, but I'm thinking about it. I'm sort of, it's there in the background, but it's not something that is something I might want to explore a bit later on. I spent a little bit of time thinking about how tall she should be, how large she should be, and scale is something that I really want to use as well as I can when I come to doing the storyboards and the animation, and show as clearly as I can that she's quite small. Everything around her is much bigger. So she's 5 inches or 13 centimeters high. I've written down a fifth the height of the gnome, which might not reflect in this painting, but a few things from this painting I think will change. And for a human, barely past the ankle. I've written down fuller figured girl, and more specifically pear-shaped, bottom heavy. I know there's maybe a more sensitive way I could have written that. It's just my notes, so please don't take offence. I really love curvy girls. I've always admired curvy girls. My wife is a fuller figured curvy girl, and I think she's the most beautiful woman I've ever met. I don't see a lot of curvy heroes or protagonists in the things that I watch, and so I want to have a curvy girl be my main protagonist. Moving on, as far as her look, sweet and innocent looking, soft, pretty, grassy green hair. I considered for a while actually making her hair actual grass, which I thought could be cool, but I think in the end I decided that that would be particularly difficult to animate. I could keep things simpler. But maybe I can say it's grass still and just not have it very detailed grass. She wears a lot of leaves and flowers as clothing. As far as fairies go, that's not particularly original. I'm going to do a little bit of research about what flowers to use, so I will have some choice there about what flowers I want her dressed in. And I have actually started to do the concept art at this point, which I'll show you in a different video. And I went through lots of different colour choices, and in the end I chose a colour scheme of the monarch butterfly, which is poisonous butterfly. So I'm possibly thinking about working that into the character as well, that she has this poisonous self-defense mechanism that butterflies do. Not a lot of things are a natural predator to the monarch butterfly because of this reason. But I will be exploring some of the predators and things that do hunt butterflies as possible villains for the story. She has a wand, but I have started to work on the story at this point. That wand is broken at the moment. Moving on to character flaws and quirks. I thought this could be a nice way to introduce some interesting qualities to her character, to add, some little flaws and things. And her main flaw will be that she doesn't take time to consider her actions, the things that she says, the things that she does. So although she's a good person, she rushes into things, and maybe sometimes she can upset people or find herself in tricky situations. And this is probably how the story begins. It's that she's rushed into this situation, and we are introducing her in the middle of that, of her trying to deal with the consequences of her actions. Another way this works into the story is that she is going to tidy Ogrod's house up for him while he's away without asking him if she can do that. And him being a very introverted sort of hermit, he doesn't appreciate that, and he gets quite angry about that. Mild OCD. I'm not entirely sure if I want to use this or not yet, but I thought that could be something that would work as both I don't want to say a flaw, because I don't want to upset people that have to deal with this condition, but I thought it could work in both a negative and a positive way. I thought that maybe I could give her challenges in which her OCD would actually be an attribute that she could really sort of tunnel vision into this problem and solve it because of the way she thinks or processes things or works with things. Again, I'm trying to be sensitive about that, and that's the reason that I'm not sure if I want to use it or not, because if I do use it, I want to do it in the correct way. And the other idea I had for a flaw would be that she maybe freezes up in moments of danger, goes into a trance-like state, and then her fight and flight response goes into overdrive, and she resolves the situation or the fight or running away, whatever it is that needs to happen. She does it, but she's unaware that she's done it, because she's sort of gone off into almost maybe a daydream or something. She's thinking about something else, and then she'll wake up and find that she's, well, I've written here, destroyed or vanquished a foe, resolved a situation, but she's no memory of it. I might not use all of these ideas. They're ideas that I am considering, but I will definitely use the rushing into situations and not planning them out or taking her time. And I've also written a little bit of a backstory here, that she could be looking for someone, like for instance her grandfather, and that maybe her grandfather was looking for something himself and went missing, and now she's trying to find him. I've seen that story before, but it is something I'm still considering nonetheless. And she's following clues that she doesn't fully understand. And I'm trying to think of things that I could explore later in different stories that possibly won't be explored in this story. And I spoke about this a bit in the beginning of the video, that she lives in a communion of fairies. Maybe it's something like, the Ewoks in their tree houses, and they all live separately from the rest of the world. And she's left that place that she lives, and she's rushed off into this adventure, again, possibly to try and find her grandfather. But she's rushed off, and that communion of fairies, like I said at the beginning of the video, will all have different personalities and different magical attributes attributed to them. And I haven't dived into that very deeply yet. But this is the rough outline of Celeste, the character. And after this, I'd like to start to show you some of my redesigns. So she's not particularly going to look like this character here, but it is that character. And so that's where I'd like to leave this video. Thank you for watching it, and any comments or suggestions that you'd like to leave are all welcome. I am a very small channel, so any likes and subscriptions, all the usual la-di-da stuff, that's also very welcome. It would help me to grow as a channel and get more people to see this when I eventually finish it. And lastly, I'd like to say that I hope you have a great, creative and productive day. And bye for now.